Hey, what's happening? It's Wednesday. It's time for a show. Oh, I'm making a mess. Why do that? All right. Got my coffee, tablet. We got some questions. It's going to be a great day. And here we go. In three, two, one. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Wednesday, February 26th, 2020. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. Well, that's particularly good this morning. Wonder why. Well, I wouldn't mind going back to bed. I'm physically tired. I had a great workout last night, and I'm just ready to go back to bed and rest more. But can't do that because there's work to be done. Did a lot of that kind of work yesterday. Had a great podcast episode with an international guest yesterday. Kat, you're fine. And Zuza, come here. The cat is old and she has dementia. And it's getting a little worse. I'm not looking forward to that. Anyway, so we had a good guest on the show, well, recorded for the show. Did a bunch of other work. Hey, come here. My apologies. If I can get her over here, she'll settle down. Let me attempt to focus. Okay. So we had a great guest and did a bunch of different work yesterday. Had a lot of things going on. Had a phone call with someone who, if you listen to last Thursday's episode, is trying to help. I won't go into more detail than that. Zuza. Hey, there's a show going on right now. You're distracting me. Anybody want to buy a cat? What else happened? Went to the gym. Sorry, this is not the best way to start a show. I understand that. I apologize for that. I am unfocused now. I've got a good routine going. In fact, I was reflecting on that when I woke up this morning, that I've got a really good routine. I wake up, make my coffee, wash my face, come out here, do the show, have another cup of coffee, do some work, whatever. But that first probably hour and a half, it's pretty dialed in. Works pretty well. And I think that that's an important part of a morning, to be dialed in. Stacy says, Kitty does not care for shows. Kitty wants more sleep. I don't know what Kitty wants, and unfortunately, Kitty doesn't know what she wants. This is part of where we're at with her. She's 20. She's old. So. If I could get her to come sit on the couch, she would be fine. Morning routine. And so that routine helps me. When I'm done with this show, I know exactly what I do. I tell my Google things to tell me the news, and while I do that, I make a second cup of coffee and get dressed and pack up for the day, because I usually have to leave the house. Then I go do my thing. Hey, you. She's being weird. I should probably just shift into questions because this opening monologue, if you want to call it that, is struggling because I'm distracted. We got questions. Hey, you. Come here. Nope, she has no interest in coming over. All right. So I had a special request from Frank that we dedicate this episode to Katherine Johnson. You may have heard that she passed away, and if you don't know who she is, she was featured in the film Hidden Figures for her extraordinary work as a mathematician for NASA. In fact, it was her calculations that allowed the first moon landing and return. She was not the only one, but she was heavily involved. And she passed away 2 days ago, at 101. So we've got a couple of quotes here from her. Like what you do, and then you will do your best. I find it amazing how often people will struggle at the things that they don't enjoy doing and not find a way into doing something that they actually like. Is it always an easy transition? No. And I don't mean to trivialize it. But if you're doing something you don't like to do, find a way. Maybe that means that you have to save up a bunch of money by working a second job so you can, I might be getting sick, go back to school, or have enough money to cover a gap in your expenses while you spend a year or two advancing at a new career or something. Life is too short to do work that you don't like to do. People will tell, oh, you don't have to do that. I don't do things I don't want to do. I've worked my own jobs, other than, a little bit, pretty much since I came out of college. I like what I do. Are there things I don't like? Yes, of course. And there's no job where you're going to like 100% of what you do. It's like, I wouldn't imagine so. It's Wednesday. I've got to do the bookkeeping. I'm not a big fan of doing the bookkeeping. But it's important, and I recognize the importance, so I do it. And it's because I do that work that I get to do all the other things, the other 90+% of the job that I love to do. The podcast, this show, the conversations with people, working on books, traveling, making new products. These are all phenomenally enjoyable aspects to what I do. And it doesn't mean that you have to be self-employed to enjoy what you do. There are plenty of jobs out there that are great. I have a lot of friends who love their job. Don't be afraid to love your job, and don't be afraid to make changes so you can get to a job that you do love. Everything else in your life goes better when you enjoy your job. I like to learn. That's an art and a science. I love learning. There is an art to learning, and there is a science to learning. If you've spent time in front of a martial arts class, you know that both of those things are true. Some people learn visually, some people learn audibly, some people learn kinesthetically. They need to be touched and put their body in place. I tend to use all three. Most good teachers of anything use all three. And then what's the art? The art is putting your own spin on it. It's having a feeling that, teaching something this way won't work for this person. Let's teach them in this way. And of course, on the other side, being the student, there's an art and a science there. If you're a student, what are all the things that you can do to further your learning? You can research, you can read, you can take notes, you can practice. You can learn from different people. There goes more snow off the roof. If you, let's say, take the example of learning a form in martial arts. How many people that are higher ranks than you know that form? Have a number of them show it to you. Have a number of them work with you on it. Are they all doing it perfectly? Nope. Is it possible you're going to pick up something that's wrong? Yep. But overall, you're going to be better off for it. Now, where's the art in being a martial artist? As a student, you have to apply your own elements to it. I define art as something in which The creator leaves a little bit of themselves in the final product. How does that art surface in being a martial arts student? Working really hard. I think that's the easiest way. Being damn good at putting in a lot of effort, being consistent, and I guess that's just another way of saying trying your best. Now, for those of you that don't know, Mrs. Johnson, Mrs. Johnson? I'm assuming it was Mrs. Johnson, um, was not only a woman at a time when women were not generally doing this sort of work, she was black. And I'll confess, I haven't seen the movie Hidden Figures. But I remember the commercials when it came out. I know a bit of the story, mostly from what's come out since her passing. And this quote relates to that. I don't have a feeling of inferiority. I never had. I'm as good as anybody, but no better. I like that bit at the end, but no better. We have this interesting dynamic in society where, because certain people do certain things at certain levels, we tend to resist that because we think it compromises somebody's value. Just because we celebrate a thing or a person doesn't mean we're necessarily saying other people aren't as good or aren't as valuable. Every life has value. If you're looking at them from certain perspectives, sure, different people are more important. If I was to consider if I was to say, let's make a list of the people important to whistlekick, I would be at the top of the list. Without me at this point, unfortunately, whistlekick does not exist. Does that mean I am a better person than someone else? No. But it means in that vein. If we go back in time, the moon landing, Katherine Johnson was a very important, maybe the most important person on that mathematics team. Does that mean that someone else on the other side of the country wasn't important? No. We need to learn to celebrate people's attributes without feeling like it makes others less important. We all have things that make us important. We all have gifts. One of the things I truly believe is that we all have something that we can do better than anybody else in the world. But most people don't ever find it. Most people don't try enough different things. Most people don't travel around, meet enough people. Most of us don't figure it out. And I think that that's really a shame. And if you think about people this way, you probably know a couple who found the thing that they are best at. And the example that I give in the martial arts community is Bill Wallace. Not just for his time in the ring, not just for his playful personality, but if you've been to a seminar, if you've seen the way he teaches, if you've seen his passion for teaching decades later, that man is truly doing what he was put here to do. And I think that's phenomenal. Am I doing what I was put here to do? I hope so. Can't quite tell right now. Give me another few years. We'll find out. So let's learn to celebrate the things that make us different without feeling like it compromises our equality. To say this again, I don't have a feeling of inferiority. Never had. I'm as good as anybody, but no better. I'm as good as anybody, but no better. I can be better than other people at certain things, but that doesn't make me a better person, right? So, I've got some homework for you. But before we do that, questions. Ask me some questions or comments or just drop some stuff below you want me to respond to. This show is more fun when more people are involved. I enjoy it more, and I think other people enjoy it more. So, thank you to Frank, as always, for doing all the great work he does to help with this show. Thank you to all of you for watching. Remember, we put out First Cup every weekday morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern, here on YouTube, but of course you can catch it later. It's even available in audio form. If you haven't, subscribed and turn on notifications, not just for this show, but for the other things that we do, like Martial Arts Radio, or the occasional other thing that we upload. There's other stuff that happens, and I have one more bit of shooting that I cannot get myself to do because I am too exhausted at the end of the day to come into character for that. When that's done, there will be more uploaded. Questions here. If you want to support the show and the work that we do here at Whistlekick, a couple things you can do. You can make a purchase at whistlekick.com. Use the code FIRSTCUP15 to save 15%. Or, of course, you can contribute to the Patreon. Patreon.com/whistlekick. Thank you to those of you who have done so. And if you spend $5 a month there, you're going to get more stuff. I try to give back. Now, for your homework. This was Frank's request, and I think it's a great one. Everybody watch Hidden Figures. Now, maybe you don't have the opportunity to do that today and tonight, but if you've never seen that movie, I'm going to take this to heart. I'm going to watch this, hopefully tonight. Check out that movie. Recognize that there are people contributing to massive things that we don't hear about. There are people putting in incredible work to advance everything in all aspects of society, including martial arts, that you never hear of. And so what I like about the idea of watching this movie and celebrating this woman is that it's a little bit of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. It's a little bit of that. Here we have this person that we get to celebrate for doing these amazing things that the majority of her life, nobody was celebrating. So let's celebrate her, and by extension, all the other people that we've ignored. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care. Peace.